Did y'all see what happened last night in Boston? Celtics open Eastern Conference Finals hosting the Indiana Pacers, snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. Jaylen Brown stunned the Pacers with a corner three-pointer right here in the final seconds. You see this right there? That was Jaylen Brown right there, the $300 million player that is Jaylen Brown. Hits that three-pointer in the final seconds of regulation to tie the game at 117. It goes into overtime where the Celtics went on to win 133-128 to take a 1-0 series lead. Look, here's the bottom line. Jason Tatum showed up in the overtime. 6 straight key points, no doubt. 10 points in overtime. No Celtic had scored that many points in overtime since Rajon Rondo did it in 2012 against the Miami Heat. Major props to Jason Tatum. But prior to that, in the fourth quarter, in the early part of overtime, the brother had hit 2 of 10 shots. And you knew that if the Boston Celtics lost this game, which they should have lost, because Indiana and Coach Rick Carlisle admittedly so should have called the timeout, instead of not calling the timeout, letting their offense look a bit haphazard, couldn't inbounds the ball, turn the ball over while trying to get it to Pascal Siakam. Ultimately, that put the Boston Celtics in a position to tie the score in regulation, send it into overtime, and ultimately win the game. They should have lost. The Boston Celtics should be down 1-0. Instead, they up 1-0. I predicted they're going to win this series. Here's what I'm not going to predict for you. I'm not going to predict that they're going to win the title. Because to me, Dallas or Minnesota can beat the Boston Celtics. Why am I saying that? It ain't just because Kristaps Porzingis is out. He's expected to be back for by game 4, by the way, after sustaining his calf injury over a month ago. The brother's 7'3", he can shoot threes, he can spread the floor, obviously he can block shots, and that's a big additional body on the front line for the Boston Celtics that they desperately need, because you don't need to be relying on an age-old Al Horford to do but only so much. My issue with the Boston Celtics is very, very clear. I don't like their offense. I don't like what Joe Mazzulla does with them offensively. It's too much one-on-one. It's not enough movement on the basketball. It's not enough proper spacing. And it's like, Jason Tatum, it's my turn. Okay, Jaylen Brown, it's your turn. All right, it's your turn. It's my turn, et cetera, et cetera. You rarely see them playing off of each other. Yesterday, in the first minute of the game, Jaylen Brown threw an alley-oop to Jason Tatum that ended up being a turnover because Jason Tatum didn't know it was going to be an alley-oop. You've been playing with each other for about 6, 7 years. How do you not know how to anticipate an alley-oop? You know why? You're not accustomed to giving the ball to one another and playing off of each other. That's why. Now, they both stars. They both stars. And Boston had the best record in basketball this year. But I'm just a little worried. That one-on-one shit ain't going to work against Minnesota. More so Minnesota against Dallas. It's not going to work. Their defense is like piranhas. Look at Minnesota in Game 2 in the first half against Denver. Look at Minnesota in Game 7 in the second half against Denver. Both on the road games in Denver. Look at that. See it for what it is. Minnesota's defense is elite. They're number 1 for a reason. They got a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. They got Karl Anthony Towns, who plays better defense man up in the post than Rudy Gobert does. We got a stud in Anthony Edwards, who's a star. You got Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels and Alexander Walker as a backup point guard with Mike Conley Jr. as a starter. Look at these brothers. They D you up now. They get in your ass. And to me, one-on-one play by the Boston Celtics ain't going to cut it. It's not. Props to Jrue Holiday for the way he played defense yesterday, because he was big time. And Jason Tatum did end up doing what he did. Jrue Holiday had 28 points, 10 of 16, shooting 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals. You see it right there. He showed up. He's a champion. He knows what it takes. Jason Tatum had 36. We know he knows what it takes. But I'm looking at Jaylen Brown, a $300 million man. Mad love and respect to him. Nobody's complaining about his dollars because he can ball. But you've been to 6 conference finals in 8 years. And an NBA Finals appearance, and you don't have one single ring to show for it, wearing a Boston Celtic uniform. You, Jason Tatum, you've been to 5 conference championship series in the last 7 years, plus an NBA Finals appearance. You don't have one single NBA title to show for it. You are the Boston Celtics. The standard is the standard. It's about the chip. It ain't about getting there. It ain't about being a participant. It ain't about participation awards. You got to get it done. And in the case of the Boston Celtics, either Anthony Edwards and a top-rated defense are going to be waiting for them, or Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. I don't know about y'all, ladies and gentlemen, but that's cause to pause. We can't sit up there and call Boston the favorites to win the chip. Not after Indiana almost took them out. Not after they looking the way they looking. So that's what I wanted to say about that.